We move on to our next question. A question from COPE's Mr. Paul Mnguni to the Minister of Correctional Services. He asked the Minister why the National Commissioner had ignored the advice of the department's advocate not to go ahead with the awarding of the food and nutrition tender to a certain company. He also wanted to know if the Minister intended to investigate the matter. The response came from the Deputy Minister, Ngoako Ramathodi. He said no tender for food and nutrition services had been awarded in 2012.
The existing contracts were extended by 1 year. Moreover, this decision was consistent with legal advice that was sought by the National Bid Adjudication Committee, which advised that under the circumstances that prevailed, the department could consider extending the existing contract for the time period that would be required for the publication of a new tender in compliance with supply chain management procedures. At no stage in the work of the National Bid Adjudication Committee was this advice, nor the further legal advice from two more other practitioners ignored. The National Commissioner, secondly, has instituted an investigation into various aspects of management of the nutrition services contract in the department over the past 18 months to determine any possible managerial failures, any possible systems failures, any possible misconduct to enable the department to avoid such situations in future. Where there has been a failure, remedial action will be taken, and if necessary, practical steps will be taken against officials so implicated.
Mr. James Self, the DA Shadow Minister of Correctional Services, said the particular contract was rotten to the bone and needed to be investigated at the highest level.
This re-award of the contract to Bosasa is only one element in a very long ongoing saga. This contract was first awarded in 2004, it was extended in 2007, it was re-awarded in 2009, and now it's being re-extended again. It was the subject of an investigation by the Special Investigating Unit, and it is the subject of criminal procedures in a court of law. It is quite clear that this contract is rotten to the core, and the question that I want to know is whether the ministry will ask the President to appoint a full investigation into this contract and its extension, and if not, why not?
Aspects of the contract which are under investigation and before the courts are sub judice. I think I've already answered the question when I said we are, in fact, looking at this contract for the past 18 months. There is a process going on of investigation. Thank you.
Deputy Minister, can you give this House an assurance? Because this is the third time that this contract has been renewed. Can you give us the assurance that, one, have you been briefed about determination on the renewal of this contract, firstly? And secondly, what will happen if you find other people are involved? Will they be fired or what? Or be criminally charged?
Where the law is broken in this country, the rule is that it must take its course. Someone must be answerable for their actions. Let me say, regarding the termination, we have said to the Standing Committee, we are preparing to take the function over by next year this time. Not only that, we have agreed with the Standing Committee that on their part, they shall visit our facilities on a regular basis, and that we shall report to them on a regular basis as to the progress being made in the direction of acquiring the services ourselves.
Mr. Vuselelo Magagula, an ANC member from Mpumalanga, was concerned about the death of babies in prisons. He asked why the death of 3 infants in the Johannesburg and Durban female correctional centers had not been reported to the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services. He also asked how many deaths of infants were recorded in correctional centers since the 1st of January 2009.
Baby Mbata, the newborn baby of Nosipo Mbata, Mbata died of natural causes at Baragwanath Hospital on the 19/01/2011, 2 days after her birth. The baby was never admitted at Johannesburg Female Center and therefore was not registered at all. So as a result, the death could not be reported via the normal electronic reporting system of the Office of the Inspecting Judge, as no reference number had been allocated to the baby since she died in hospital before her admission. Baby Janse van Rensburg, the newborn baby of Mariaka Janse van Rensburg, died at Baragwanath Hospital on the 23rd/12/2010, 2 days after her birth in hospital. The baby was never admitted at Johannesburg Female Center and therefore could not be registered at all at that center. The only incident in Durban was that of an aborted fetus on the 24th March 2010 at about 00:30 in a communal cell.
There were more follow-up questions from members of the National Assembly. We pick up on the supplementary question from Mr. Makakula.
One death of an infant is one death too many. What policy and training are put in place by the department to prevent any further deaths in our correctional services?
Well, as will be realized, these babies died almost at birth. But what we do in the department, as soon as we detect that an inmate is pregnant, we separate them from other inmates and give them specialized treatment. That's what we do. And since January 2009, no infant has died in the DCS centers.
I just wanted to know that, do you have gynecologists in your department to prevent this to happen?
Well, I suggested that we are giving them specialized treatment, expecting mothers. It means there must be professionals who do the job.
Given the fact that the law does not compel the department to report the death of infants to the Judicial Inspectorate, because the infants have not been regarded as inmates, do you intend to propose an amendment to the Act to compel the department to report such deaths?
We'll be willing to consider looking into that. Thank you.
That's where we have to leave it. We've run out of time. Join us again tomorrow when we are back with more news and views from Parliament.